Coach.
Fran, Josh Dix, 0 turnovers, 10 points, had a nice block down low. It seems like he was really that stabilizing force with those 4 freshmen. How would you assess what he's kind of brought to the group?
You're right. I mean, that's who he is. I mean, he's rock solid. To play the point, play the off-guard position, can guard multiple positions defensively. He's an underrated defender, slides his feet, has a physical presence, makes shots, makes plays. Valuable member of our team.
You talked up the freshmen, at least to an extent, at media day, but tonight we got to see a little idea of what you were talking about. Is this going to be the way it is with those 4 guys being substantial players for you this year?
No question. Yeah, they were brought in here with that expectation by the staff, and I think their expectation is they're going to play. They've been terrific from day one. I mean, there hasn't been much difference, no matter how I split the teams up, because it's not always the way it was tonight. But those guys, they can all make plays for each other. They can all make shots. There's a sense of toughness. There's a mindset that they have. They were all winners, in high school. I mean, big time winners. So they have an expectation to win. And obviously, it makes us a lot bigger. And last year we did not have a big team. It's amazing we did what we did with. I mean, when you look at Connor and Phillip and Chris, those dudes were tough. They played 3,000 minutes in this league and get us to the tournament. We just didn't have much size. This year we've got plenty of ways we can go. We can go with a smaller lineup with a bunch of guards. We can go with Owen and Lodgy, or one of those two with Ben. There's a number of ways we can go. So that was good to see.
Bring in 7 guys in double figures. You had to really appreciate it. Has that been kind of the theme?
Yeah, I mean, it was like that overseas. It was like that when we had inter-squad scrimmages. It was like that when we scrimmaged Wichita State. Yeah, multiple guys are going to score, and some guys are going to have a little bit of an off night. Like I thought Tony played well. I mean, he missed. He's usually money from the line. He would have been 15, 16 points. He makes his free throws. But I'm always impressed with how we move and share the ball. We had probably a few too many turnovers. 14's too many, but out-rebounded them. And, they played hard. They were physical. I mean, they fouled a lot, but they were physical. They were switching. Hawk does a great job, always has. They executed their stuff. Made 14 threes. We got to do a better job there. But took care of business when we had to.
Fran, something that maybe for a lack of better terms that impressed me about the freshman group tonight, they just seem like they're so self-aware, their strengths, their weaknesses, even their teammates. I guess, is that just rare for those guys? It just seems like they really, really gel and they have a great awareness on how to play alongside one another.
Well, the other thing too is an awareness of what's necessary when they go in the game. Okay, so wasn't going great when we put them in the first half. So they needed to jumpstart the offense with a little bit of defense. We got consecutive stops, and then we got some runouts, and then they all can score. So it's not like, okay, we have to go to 1 or 2 guys. Go to any of them. Price obviously has the green light. He can pull from anywhere. I'm going to say a word to him. But Owen and Lodgy, not only can they score, they're very unselfish. They can pass the ball to each other, and they both rebounded. So to consistently have fresh bodies out there, all of whom can play and all of whom understand the circumstances, it's a great feeling as a coach.
The way they played the second half, I mean, you had them in there a long time together. What did you really like in that span?
Well, the start of the second half, we did some things offensively that were pretty good. Defensively, we were just okay, and they were hanging around, and they banked a couple threes. And we're not shooting free throws because they're not into the bonus yet. They got to get to 7, so they were fouling a lot again. So the same thing happened in both halves. Eventually you're in the bonus, and you're in the double bonus, so that's a game changer. But that group, I left them in there because they deserve to stay in, quite frankly.
I'm not going to insult you by asking you about preseason rankings, but once again, you've lost an NBA first rounder, and so it's understandable, I think, that outsiders would assume a drop-off. What have you got here this season, at least in November?
And I really like our team, Mike. You know, I think it, you know, I think I said this at media day. I think it's really hard anymore for you or anybody in this room or anybody that writes for a magazine to pick any team. You know, so many teams have, oh, they got 8 new guys. They have 9 new players. It used to be, okay, they lost this guy and this guy, and they replaced them with this guy and this guy, and these guys will be juniors. And you can kind of predict. But now, you got teams that are picked high that have a whole new team. Maybe they're good. Maybe they're not. Maybe they don't gel. You know, but so a lot of things are going to factor into who ends up where. Not the least of which is injury for anybody. But you know, I think we have a good mixture of talent, athleticism, scoring, rebounding, and we have a good mixture of character and the ability to understand how to play the game the right way.
One more question. Desante got the start at point guard. Just what has he shown you leading up to the
He's
season?
been terrific, but so has Josh, and I think that's been the hardest one. They both deserve to start, and I talked to them yesterday. I mean, they're best friends, they're roommates, and I just said, hey, you know, I don't want to pit one against the other. I mean, you guys just hoop when you're out there. If you're starting, you're starting. If you come in, you know, off the bench and they're the coach, we're fine with it. We get it. And there'll be games when one plays better than the other, but there's gonna be games when they both play great.
All right, thanks, Fran.
Okay.